time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to a Monday episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. And the Oilers and Kings are deadlocked at 2. Lots of series are deadlocked at 2, and we'll get into that as we work our way through this episode. As always, presenting sponsor, Two Guys and a Goalie, is our friend and our partners over at CoolBet. If you've not yet signed up for an account at coolbet.com, enter the code 2Guys when you go and sign up, and they'll take care of you a little bit. It's episode 226, and boy, we've got lots to get to, guys. Gager, I noticed when you logged in today, your name was Worn Down Gage, and this is the week of your roast, buddy, so you better not be worn down come Friday night, but pretty busy weekend, or what?
It was a mess, man. It was a mess. We all participated in the Hockey Helps Homeless. That was fantastic, but I believe to a man we can all say that was a bad idea. And 3 games in one day.
It's 3 games in 5 hours, buddy. It's not even one day. It was 5 hours.
It's unbelievably hard to do that. And but saying that, had an absolute blast. Great to see my everyone got a little dose of Turan Sanwith.
Oh,
and the
buddy.
beauty that he is, announcing himself as second overall and not caring what anyone else thinks about that was absolutely priceless. What a beauty. Great night. Fun time. I had a blast, but I'm just now starting to feel like normal. I bent down to grab something from the floor, and I gave out this awful old man grunt, and my wife just started laughing at me, and I got mad at her for laughing at me, but it was terrible. But I'm feeling a little better today.
Cass, how are you doing, buddy? You were buzzing around out there. Like, you look like you had the energy level going at least on Friday.
Oh, Saturday was a different story.
Yeah,
my friends, especially with doing the post-game show. Like, the post-game show is, it's late. It was 8 o'clock.
Yes, it is.
And so it was like, late night on Thursday because the draft night, late night on Friday because of the game after playing those games all day, and my lower back is still recovering. So I'm getting there, but my body was a little banged up, and then another late one yesterday. So yeah, I'm right with you, Gage.
It's catching up on us, man. It's catching up.
Yeah.
Now we got 2 late games again, and then the roast on Friday. It's just like, we're going to be bags of ass come next Monday, too. I got home, and I'm glad it wasn't just me that was laboring. Like, I finally got home, like, just to walk out to the car and carry my bag out, my work bag, go to the car, get home, hang out, have dinner with my parents and the kids, and then the kids go to bed, and I told Tam, I said, I'm just going to hop in. We don't have jets in our ensuite, but we got like a soaker tub, right? I was just like, I'm just going to hop in the tub. So I'll fill it up with bubbles, and I lay down. I'm laying in there. She comes in to check. She's like, how are you doing? I was like, I'm not doing very good. So she's like sprinkling Epsom salts all over the tub. I'm just like, it was a mess. But Sandwith, holy shit. Like, so we had him on our team. Brewhouse pays like 10 grand draft night to move up to get to second overall. I'm like, well, they're making a move. Like, this is going to be good. And then Sandwith comes up and drafts himself, and he gets the mic, second overall, takes the mic from me and goes, I know not many of you in here even know who I am, but I'm Terrence Sandwith, and I'm selecting myself with the second overall pick. It was too good. And then in our final game, you wouldn't see this, Gager, because you were, and I think Cass was off at his game too. We finished up, and then we're going to take we were going to take a picture after. So he gets back on the bench, steps back on the ice with his skate guards on, and goes down hard. It was the perfect way to wrap up the weekend. I was just like, see you on Friday at the roast. Like, it was amazing. Oh, great time, though. It was a good time. It was fun. Yeah,
That's great.
That was good.
That's great.
Too much fun.
Sandman's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's next level stuff, man. I can see why you're buddies with him. He's funny.
Can you believe he runs a company
no,
and a successful
not for a minute.
company?
I was going to say, and he runs it well. He doesn't just run it; like he runs it very, very
one
well.
Of the biggest construction companies in the city, and it does well.
He must have great support staff.
He does absolutely nothing. And obviously, Dad set him up. he's just he's like one of Trump's kids. I don't know how this is happening.
He's like one of Trump's kids.
I gotta save
all
some
right.
of these. I gotta save.
Save the. I was gonna say save that one for the roast. That's gonna be good. Roast's coming up on Friday. It should be a fun time. Really looking forward to that. By then, this series could be over, or it could be going 7. Cass, let's start with you. I know Gager wants to get to that goal, that third goal, and I want to hear your take on that, Gager. But Cass, I mean, they rolled in a couple of games. I think when you're an NHL playoff team, if you're the Kings, you got some pride, like you want to push yourself back after being embarrassed in back-to-back games. What was the big thing last night for you that allowed the Kings to contain the Oilers in that hockey game after scoring 14 in 2 straight?
Turnovers. The Edmonton Oilers did not manage the puck in that first period. It was like they just expected the offense to be there. Like they didn't expect LA to actually forecheck or come with any kind of pressure, like they had broken or completely crushed LA's spirit, which of course was totally not true. And then you just turned the puck over too many times. I think if I was going to even break it down a little bit further, I would say their defensemen did not make good choices with the puck. Okay, or they made choices too slowly with the puck. That's what caused it. But it's just, they weren't moving the puck quick enough. LA was applying pressure, and as such, they were throwing it away and giving up chances against and just couldn't really ever get anything going.
Gager, is this just one of those things where, like, winning a playoff game is one thing, but winning a critical playoff game where you can, like, step on the throat of a team, so you're going to a team that's desperation, not facing elimination just yet, but let's be honest, if the Kings go down 3-1 in that series and have to come back to Edmonton, they're in a pretty tough spot. Like, I would not know this, but I get the sense there's, different levels of playoff victories, and to get to that next one, the Oilers still just have to find another level, because the Kings brought a level of desperation because their backs were pretty much against the wall.
Yeah, they haven't got that foot on the throat, like you said, mentality yet. Again, with the bad starts, I look back to game 2 where I thought both teams were quite tentative and kind of feeling each other out. Going to the next game, I really thought that LA pressed the Oilers for the first 10 minutes of that game before the Oilers went nuts. And yeah, this was just another. The Oilers have to at least match LA's intensity and desire each game. And I think that they're obviously execution is part of that. But if they match the work ethic and execution, the skill will take over it eventually. And I don't think the LA Kings will be able to handle it. On the other side of that, the Kings were lucky, I think, on a lot of those goals. I mean, you see the puck hits the ref, bounces over Bouchard's stick, and goes for a 2-on-0 in front. Keith getting a stick in the way, going 5-hole, and that third one's just absolute bullshit. So there's something good there, but really the Kings deserve to win that game.
All right, well, let's get into the third goal. I thought the Kings, they deserved to win that game. 2-0 at the point for the third goal. If it was a 2-2 game, my goodness, this city would have been losing their minds right now. But yeah, let's talk about that third goal for a second, Gager, because I'm looking at it. I see Nurse kind of take him down, but then I also see, he kind of follows through with his arm. So take us through your thought process on that. And did you think for sure it was going to be overturned?
I thought 100% for sure it's going to be overturned. Like, he's tripped, falls down. You can see a moment where he has 2 hands on his stick, where he puts the puck in position. And as he's going down, he positions his hands right in front of the puck and runs into Mike Smith with his hand and his stick. You see Mike Smith stationary in one spot and completely gets knocked into the other side. It's not allowing the goalie to make the save. For sure, it's a penalty, but you can't go in both hands like Superman and make contact with the goalie in that type of situation and knock the puck in. That's not a goal, in my opinion. You're opening it up for guys to go to the net and crash the net just by putting the puck in their feet or something, and then I've run into the goalie and it going in.
I've made some contact with somebody on the way in, and look what I've done. Like,
it's someone's going to get hurt here. It's a dangerous play as it is. But you saw him on the next shift. He tried it again, almost, right? Like, so. And what I have to say this for myself, when you have the greatest of all time goaltender in the NHL, liking your tweet, I think I'm on to something here. So bad call by the refs. I think now you're going to see it a lot more. Stupid call. It's a penalty, yes. Grant, it's a penalty, but that is not a goal.
Dominic Hasek liked your tweet.
Grant Fuhr.
I know it's Grant Fuhr. I know, buddy. I was just messing with him. He wasn't happy about it. I saw him tweet about it too. He was not happy with it. Cass, did Cass freeze like that, or is he just holding dead still right now?
He froze, but that's a terrible freeze.
Okay, that's a terrible freeze. I'm gonna get my cell phone and take a picture of Cass's freeze.
I might. He didn't. That.
What is Cass thinking right now? I'm gonna take a quick photo of that. He just reconnected. Let me dive into this. Gager, as I reconnect Cass right now, and it'll take me 2 seconds. Just your thoughts on Smith and Quick both, and the way they played last night. Then we'll get Cass on the goal.
I mean, Quick was old Jonathan Quick again, making great saves. He's playing well. Like, I think he's playing quite well. Smith, I have no problems with his play either. Like, those 3 goals, when I look at them, you create your own bounces, and I know that, and LA was working hard for those, but those are 3 goals that, those first 2, that's very lucky to happen. So,
like on that the first one, like he followed the shooter along, and then they dropped it back for a tap in. I don't know what else he could have done on that one. Like,
it's a little aggressive with I didn't like the poke check. All right.
Okay.
But he was still, a back pass, back door in that situation. That's going to be a tough save for any goalie. But I thought I didn't like the poke check like that. But again, hitting the ref, bounce it like the puck on the ice and just going just enough over Bouchard's stick. It's a lucky goal.
Cass, I don't know. Did you see the freeze? Did you see your freeze there?
Yeah,
it was good. I got a good picture of it. I'll text it to you later. Hey, what'd you think of the third goal? Gager obviously thought it was bullshit. Where'd you come out of that as a forward who would like to be crashing the net in that situation?
Well, Gager, I love you. I respect you. You are 100% wrong. This was nowhere close to being goaltender interference. Nowhere close to it. It was 100% a goal. The second it happened, I was like, well, that's a goal. How does it not count? He got taken down by Darnell Nurse. Like it's like, oh, well, he could have done something. Like, you're skating as fast as you can, carrying the puck, and you get tripped 3 feet from the net. Like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? Like, you put your hands out, and the puck's right there, so your hands are out and it goes off, you're sticking into the net. But like, what, you're supposed to get up, find your edges and stop in front of Mike Smith? To me, this was no way caused by his intent to run over the goalie. So it's without question a goal. It sucks that it happened, but Darnell Nurse shouldn't have tripped him. Doesn't trip him, possibly no goal. Definitely no penalty, but yeah, I think it was a goal. That's why it happened. That's why the review went so quickly. It was like not even
it was a quick review.
The video room.
Yeah,
they were just like, no, that's a goal.
I'm literally and figuratively stuck in the middle here. I'm torn on this one.
He went in full Superman, and look at his.
Well, I feel like he knew he was pushing his pad away with his hands, right? Like
he had two hands.
He
on his
physically was like, I'm gonna. Yeah, he's just worried about not hurting himself.
You see his helmet after it was like that He-Man character that hits with his head, and he was just it was completely sideways and completely covered in fog. Like, he knew, okay, put this right here. Here I come, boom, and knock the goalie way off to the side. Come on.
So Gager, so if his visor was full of fog, how could he even see what he was doing?
Oh, he knew what he was doing. I've seen guys with visors full of fog, and they knew exactly
here's
what
the
they
thing.
were doing.
I'm not saying. Actually, I probably would say he probably knew what he was doing, that he was going to go into the goaltender. But what was he supposed to do to stop it at that point?
But you can't make contact with the goalie and push him off to the side too. Like, you were in a position. You made the goalie unable to make that save by plowing into him like that, and you could see him He was on his backhand and he touched the puck. He knew he was going down, and he put the puck in a position where he could go down and just go full bore right into the post, into the net. It's not good. It's not good. You're going to see these.
I do think this
guys-
factors in at some other point in the series now, like one way or the other, good or bad. Like there'll be some other goaltending goal, like a goal that's involved with the goaltending interference. It's going to happen.
It's going to, for sure, it's going to happen. You're going to see guys driving wide, and boom.
Oh, well. I knew it would lead to a good conversation today. I knew Gager was going to hate it. I knew Cass was
driving wide, and then the defending player will use a leg lock and trip the player, who then falls into the net, and we're all going to lose our minds.
But it's not like he went into the net uncontrollably, because he managed to get that puck between his two hands.
Oh, come on!
As he pushed through to the pad,
watch him.
This.
Watch when Darnell does the Greg the Hammer Valentine trying to do the figure four there. He goes two hands, puts and just touches the puck down. Oops. It's like Austin Powers when he goes, he trips and falls in bed. Like,
I've fallen again.
I tripped. And then it goes right between, and he goes Superman into the thing. It's a joke. Come on. Come on.
So here's the thing. This is what I want you guys to do.
I've tripped again.
I want you guys, next time you're on the ice and you're playing forward,
I fall down anyway, and I never have enough
nice.
speed, Cass, so don't worry about it.
Just skate as fast as you can, and at the bottom of the circles, drop to your hands and knees with a puck in front of you, and see how well you can control that, and see if you can get out of the way, and what you can do, skating as fast as you can, which is a lot slower than he's going in that instance. So, I mean,
he's faster sliding than I am skating.
And if you want to be really brave, don't do it like in front of the net. Do it like as you're skating towards the boards, and then slide on your hands and knees face first towards the wall, and then see what you're able to do to get out of the way. And you know what? Maybe you do, and then we can
I think
change my argument.
Like, it might have been difficult to avoid what he did, but I also think he knew what he was doing. Yeah, like, I don't think it was like, I'm going so fast, I fell, I couldn't do anything about it. I'm going so fast, I'm tripped. Because I'm tripped, I'm sliding into this goalie and I'm pushing this puck into the net past his pad. Like,
absolutely. See, I'm not disagreeing with that.
But that's allowed now. That's what we're thinking. Like,
if you get tripped going full speed, if Connor McDavid was on a breakaway and he got tripped going full speed 3 feet from the goalie, and he runs into the goalie and the puck ends up going in, do you truly think that we would be sitting here being like, oh, that shouldn't have been a goal? Like,
does he use his hands to push the pad? Like, that's the thing, though.
Superman?
Well, so you're gonna put your hand. You guys are wrong.
It was a tough call.
We need to get to the Terwilliger Rec Center for certain episodes and recreate situations. We'll go full gear, and you can whatever.
I'll be the trippy. I'll trip Cass.
Cass can come into me full, and we'll rule the new podcast with actual game-like events on the ice. We'll recreate stuff. Okay, that's the next thing for the podcast.
All right, good discussion. Look, I mean, we can talk all we want about the third goal. The Oilers scored 0 goals. So, Cass, what'd you see not see from the offense last night for the Edmonton Oilers?
Well, it started in the defensive zone, and I talked about it earlier, and that they
started just from the blue line out, essentially.
Started from the blue line out in the defensive zone. They weren't able to get the puck. Like, how many times? And I'm trying to even think of how many times it happened, and I haven't seen the advanced stats and analytics on this. But how many times did they actually have full control and full speed skating through the neutral zone? I can't think of that many times where they actually had that, which, if you have that, it sets you up for possession in the offensive zone versus like a chip and chase or coming in under heavy pressure. Like, they weren't able to attack because they weren't able to start that process in the defensive zone, in my opinion.
I think a little bit too, after scoring 8 goals like that. I find sometimes the Oilers think, okay, we're going to score a nice ticky.
It's too easy now. Yeah.
Too easy. Let's just look for that perfect play. Whereas the get back to what Woodcroft said, the goals that are scored in late April, May, June are different than the ones usually that are scored during the regular season. The Oilers have to get back to that, because once you start getting those greasy goals, when those scrambles start, that's when the other plays kind of open up, right? So a little bit too fancy. I thought. Get more pucks to the net. I was looking at some of the analytics on Quick, going side to side, and those shots from bad angles down by his feet tend to work better. You definitely can't pass up a shooting opportunity. We saw what happened in game 2 when they just kind of shot the puck and a few went off sticks, went in. You got to get the puck to the net. You can't look for something better. If you're in that kind of that house area in between the dots in the slot, it's got to be on net with guys going to the net for rebounds.
Who's been the Oilers' best player so far in this series, guys? 4 games in.
Kane.
Yeah.
He brings everything. He's been by far, and that's including.
I thought you might say Smith too. I thought you might say Smith just because he's got
close.
942 save percentage.
But he made that dumb mistake.
He made that one stupid mistake that could have cost them, or did cost them a game, as everybody said. So,
but Kane's scoring from all different ways. Like he's shooting the puck from distance and scoring. He's scoring those 2 feet goals. He's a mean SOB to play against. He finishes all his checks. He's on the minds of the Kings when he's doing everything you do as a player in the playoffs. He's perfect.
Well, as much as I would like to disagree with Gage, I can't.
I think it's clear cut, right? Like he's been their best player.
Cut.
You can go with Mike Smith. You can go with Mike Smith. Go with Mike.
But
Smith.
I don't think he has been, so I can't.
Because
then I would be lying. Yeah, no, I mean, hard to argue with that. He's been everything you needed, everything you want. He's been the forward they needed, and maybe the forward they deserved during the NHL playoffs.
Certainly worked so far, yeah. All right, let's wrap up on this one, and then we got a few other things we got to talk about in this episode around the league. Cass, 2-2. Oilers are coming home. I know it's after a shutout loss, and everybody would have loved to have seen them go up 3-1 and kind of put their foot on the throat of the Kings here. But where's your head at right now for the Oilers coming home? Like, you still feel pretty good about the way things are going, or is there a seed of doubt in your mind? I know you said you're going to stick with Oilers in 5. That's gone now, but I mean, I'm still riding with Oilers in 6. I think they can finish this off for the next couple of games. Where are you at on them right now?
I'm still positive. They've played better overall through the 4 games, I would say, than the Kings. You have home ice advantage. They played really well at home for the most part. And I think, this smack in the face that they just took is going to inspire them to actually pull one out here for game 5. So
now it's their turn to respond, right? Like that's what the Kings just did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm still feeling pretty good about it. Not overly concerned. Still think they can win in 6. Obviously my in 5 prediction, which was a little on the bold side, didn't work out. But I still feel good about Edmonton winning the series.
Gager?
Yeah, I'm still optimistic about this. I think what we saw from the Kings is a level of play they've done it twice now, right? So Oilers have to realize that they are capable of playing a very difficult, hard game to play against. And again, like I said, they got to match that intensity or go above it for the next 2 games for sure if they want any chance of winning. So I think the realization that the Kings aren't folding, that's good to keep in the back of your mind, because you are going to have to bring a difficult brand of hockey to play against and get to that level, and then let your skilled guys and certain plays take over from there. And I think that's the key for the Oilers to win this series.
I'll just quickly add before we move on to the other things. They got to start better. Like the last thing you can do is fall behind this Kings team. Like the Kings, when the Kings are trailing, they're done. Like that's just it. The Kings trailing are not going to be able to open things up against the Oilers because the Oilers will bury you. But if the Kings get a 1-0 lead on the road, I mean, Todd McClellan have those guys just sit back and try to eat everything up. So got to have a little bit of a better start for sure, and I think that would go a long way, especially in Game 5.
I hate to look like a genius again, Dusty, but I believe I texted you. You asked me.
You did actually, yeah.
And I said whoever scores the first goal is going to win this game. So again,
and they got it done last night. Yeah. All right, let's dive into what we got to talk about, guys. There's a lot of stories kicking around the rest of the National Hockey League. Cass, let's start with you. Here you are praising this guy again.
Praising this guy, and my favorite person to praise, Brad Marchand. man, what a game he had against Carolina for the Boston Bruins the other day. Just does everything, scores goals, gets points, and calls somebody a racist. That throws them completely off. Tony DeAngelo, having a resurgence this year for Carolina, which I expected him to do. He's a good player. Obviously had issues inside the New York dressing room, and rumors going around that it was because of the conservative nature of some of his viewpoints. And Marchand goes right
at him,
jugular. And I mean, I loved it, and the reason I loved it is not because what he's saying, I have no idea if it's true or it's not, but it obviously struck a nerve, which is something that Marchand, when he's at his best, does so well, just drives players crazy. Certainly one of the most hated players in the league, but also just a fantastic player. And he just backs it up, and he backed up everything he was doing. Again, like just seeing DeAngelo throw his stick at him at the end of the game.
Like, holy
like that's how much he got underneath his skin. I'm like, that's how in their heads he was in that moment. And now he's, he just kind of gets to parade that fact in front of him. So I think it was awesome, an overmatched, I would say, typically an overmatched Bruins team that's finding a way against a really good Carolina team to win hockey games, and Marchand leading the charge in game 4 here. Like it was a pretty fun game, I thought, to watch. And as I said, made even better by just a little bit of that chirping that's going on, because that stuff happens. Usually you don't quite see reactions like that, and you don't necessarily, or you can't, even with what guys are saying, you can't always, or you don't always have the clips of the camera catching what's going on. But in instances you do, and it was hilarious. I loved it.
There's certain things that I hear guys say that I always wish I could go back and say to people, because what a great line to call someone a racist on the ice. Like such a time delayed mental bomb to put in someone's head. He called me what? Like I don't
multiple times.
How do you come back from that? Just genius way of chirping. I don't think, how can you get in trouble for that? It's
you can't. You can't. What are they going to, calling a guy racist? So, like, it's not. I mean, I mean, there's good responses to that if I was having like a normal conversation with somebody, but that's not a situation where you're having like a normal conversation with somebody. Like that's a situation where it's like, I can't, Tony DeAngelo couldn't be like, well, what do you mean I'm racist? Can you explain that, please? Like, can you elaborate, please, on how you came to that conclusion? Like, he can't do it. So you can't ask that.
I want a DeLorean with a flex capacitor right now. I got to go back. I got to throw that out just to see the look on some people's faces. That's awesome. Awesome.
It's one of those ones where it's like you just, like if I was a teammate on the ice and I heard it, it's just like I'd just start giggling. Like you just be like,
yeah. You turn your face and put your hand over your mouth. And just go, oh my God, I'm laughing too hard.
Yeah, you don't want your teammate to see it, especially when you see the reaction. Now, I mean, no one on Carolina is laughing because they're losing that game and it's the playoffs, But like if that was a regular season game and it happened a few times, Gage, I'm sure for you too, where someone would say something, you get out with your teammates and you'd just be like,
oh my God, that was a good one. Yeah, he'd rip your own teammate and then everyone else on your team. Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah. Do you think Marchand, like, does he sit around and be like, oh man, if DeAngelo gets in my face, I'm going to call him a racist? Or do you think it's just a heat of the moment thing? Because you say anything in the heat of the moment, right? Like,
it's being sharp in the heat. I mean, that's just like those the good comedians that are good with hecklers or just improvisation. Hoping we see some of that at the Gager event on Friday.
I'm calling everyone a racist. Don't worry about it.
There you go. That's your out. Yeah. So Sandy will say something. He'll be like, "You're just a racist." Yeah.
Just a bunch of racists sitting here roasting Gager. Like, come on,
you racist bigot. Yeah. And so, like, what are they going to say? What kind of comeback are they going to go at? Like, you can't say anything. It immediately wins the conversation.
Yeah, there's no comeback there. No, you're a racist. You can't get into that. Like, come on, that's crazy. So yeah, that series is very interesting. Carolina at home, then Boston at home. Now Carolina gets to go home again. So we'll see. And I think the Bruins have gone to Swayman. He's 2-0, right? So that's helped a little bit as well. Boy, I'm kind of looking forward to if Gagers hits here. This would be like a phenomenal sort of one last time maybe thing. Gager, what do we got to talk about, buddy?
Just we're seeing the resurgence of two old guys that are still at the top of their game. And I've found this Rangers Pittsburgh series really interesting, and seeing what Washington's doing against Florida. Ovi and the Sid, well, he's not a kid anymore. It's just Mr. Crosby.
He's got some grays. It blows my mind seeing Crosby with grays.
Man, they're both just playing so well. Crosby, the last game, just eating up players, and his puck control. There was talk about how he looks like he's skating like he did 10 years ago. And I kind of looked right away at the playoff bracket, and I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. There's a lot of work to do, but I am fingers crossed right now. My desire would to be able to see Crosby and Ovi in a conference final one more time with a chance to go to the Stanley Cup. And it's crazy to see the fact that the goalies that they have, like, they're going through goalies like crazy. It's nuts, and what they're doing and the teams they're playing against. So fingers crossed, Eastern Conference final, Washington, Pittsburgh. It's great for hockey. It would be a fantastic series to watch.
You know what I like about that, Gager? You know what I like about that is it means that Toronto lost.
I know. I forgot to put that in there. Yeah, that's good.
That's what it means.
To see Ovi go in there, well, if they get past Tampa, but Ovi go in there and just go nuts against Toronto would be hilarious.
It would be it might be just as entertaining watching those guys go at it to try to get to a cup for the last time as it was for the first time back, in their early 20s. And like that would be, because it might never, back then you're like, oh, they're going to do it again and they're going to get there eventually and he's going to win one. He's going to win one. Now you're like, this is your last chance for glory here against each other. That'd be fun. That
game when they both had hat tricks, crazy, just crazy. And just to see, like, they're not like, they're the best players on their teams still at this point. You could say so, man. Let's do it.
For me, what we got to talk about is the Calgary Flames. They are now down 2-1. They play Dallas again tonight, trying to avoid a 3-1 deficit. Jake Ottinger in that series has a .969 save percentage, best in the playoffs so far. Calgary, who was the 6th highest scoring team heading into the playoffs in the league, has 3 goals in 3 games. Just 2 of them have come at even strength, and only one of them was by their top line. That was so good 5-on-5 during the regular season. So, Calgary, it's funny. Calgary wins that first game 1-0. People are like, oh, there we go. That's how Calgary's going to play. That's what's going to work. And then since then, Dallas goes and returns the favor 2-0. Then Dallas gets 4. Pavelski has as many goals in this series as all of the Calgary Flames combined. So, Gager, I'm sitting here expecting a response tonight from Calgary and a win, and they go home at 2 as well. But I don't know how closely you've been watching Jake Ottinger in this series, but they're just not getting a ton of chances. Like, Dallas has done an excellent job defensively, and if you're not already worried if you're the Flames, by the midway through tonight's game, you might be. Like, what have you thought of that series and the Calgary Flames' lack of offense so far?
Well, they're like seeing Dallas play it down the stretch there a little bit. They were playing somewhat playoff hockey. And Cass, you were completely correct, I think, where the Flames got to a level, but there's nothing more than that, right? And man, Ottinger he's unbelievable. I like watching him in the last few games. He's doing some things that are really, really good. But one of the biggest factors, I think, in this series is Tkachuk has been Tkachuk'd by the Dallas Stars. He's completely gone crazy going after Lindell. Like there's
and Klingberg too. Like it's crazy.
Like it's just a joke what they've done to him. He's completely off his game. I do think the Flames will make a statement. This will be a statement game. But like I said, I think these guys, they'll lose in 7 here because there's not another level to this game. And I like the structured play of the Dallas Stars. It's crazy. And man, last game, I've never seen so many pictures of a coach during a game. I don't know why they were doing that, but that was quite funny.
Cass, what do you think of Calgary, man? Do they got a gear here that they can figure it out?
No. You're just stealing my thunder. I stick with what I had said before, and that
I thought you were going to make a cleavage joke. That's why I was just like, what? That's what you were going to
do? No. I just got to stick with what I said. The Gager reminded everybody. I just don't think Calgary's got another gear. I think they've been playing at their maxed out capacity, and that's kind of how they've kept playing, but there's just not anything extra there. And we're seeing Dallas rise up a little bit. Now, I still think Calgary could or will win the series, barring maybe a little bit of extra goaltending tonight for the Dallas Stars. I think Calgary is a better team overall than Dallas, but Dallas is playing well, and they're locking it down, and they're getting some goaltending, and that can spell trouble for a team that's not scoring that many goals right now.
This is another kind of game, I think, tonight where that first goal is huge. And because after that, both teams are really comfortable playing with a 1-goal lead. And then you get into a counterattack situation, and both are good on the counters. So, that first goal, I'll say it again. The team that scores that first goal tonight is going to win that game.
Gager, I mentioned it on my show today, and I know you were loving them. But is Auditor bringing a little bit of that Thatcher Demko bubble Demko out? Like that's kind of what I'm sensing right now. Like
he's really good. I'm really enjoying watching his evolution of his playoff performance here. I mean, if they're getting Conn Smythe goaltending from the goal, and Markstrom's been good too. Yeah, like this is probably one of the best goalie matchups that you've seen. But it's he spells trouble for the Flames, definitely.
Sometimes it's okay to use a first-round pick on a goaltender. He was taken 26th overall. Okay, guys, we're not going to be back until Thursday. That'll be game day of Game 6, which will be very interesting. Give us a Game 5 prediction before we wrap up the episode, guys. What do you think happens with the Oilers and the Kings on Tuesday night at Rogers Place? You're muted, Cass. It must have been an amazing prediction.
Game. Oilers win 7-1.
7-1?
7-1 win Oilers.
Holy smokes. So they get back. They get going again offensively. Gager, what do you got?
Unfortunately, I think it's 4-2 empty netter. Kings win.
Holy.
Oilers come back, win the next two, win in 7.
Wow. Okay. Well, that gets the drama. Man, we're really going to be worn out by next Monday. We got the roast of Saturday, then another 11:30 night. That's going to be in town too. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to say the Oilers win 3-2 in overtime in Game 5. We have not had an overtime game just yet. I'm not sure the city could handle an overtime game.
No.
Sorry, Cass. Cass can be doing post game at 1 a.m.
Oh, I'm going to be just like half asleep.
Just
struggle city.
Too good. Great episode today, guys. This was a lot of fun. We'll be back on Thursday with another episode. If you've been watching on the live stream, remember, of course, it's brought to you by CoolBet Canada. Stay cool. Bet responsibly with our friends at CoolBet. When you sign up, use the code 2GUYS. If you have been watching on YouTube or on Twitter, make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well, right? Just search 2 Guys and Goalie on all your podcasting platforms. Give us a sub there, and we'll be back with a brand new episode on Thursday. We'll talk to you then. See you later, guys.